What is up, guys? This is QRem from the Trinity of Lift, and today I'm going to bring all of you guys my Zodiac Shaddoll deck profile for this March 2017 format. Now, we are moving along with yet another Zodiac variant, and today is going to be the Shaddoll variant. As you guys know, if you guys have subscribed to this channel from about 2015 time, when this channel first started, you guys will remember that Shaddolls were still one of my favorite decks of all time to play. And being able to, again, play it in yet another form in 2017 is, again, very, very fun. So yeah, this is going to be my list today. I also would like to point out really fast that I am selling my Zodiac deck very soon. So because of that, expect like deck profiles like each day starting today. Like today, tomorrow, and probably the next day, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan. So if you guys are looking forward to more content, there you go. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it, starting off with the main deck as per usual. So we're going to start off with the Shaddoll lineup first. We're going to have 2 copies of the Beast, 2 copies of Hedgehog, and then 1 of all the other good Shaddolls, 1 Squamata, 1 Falco, 1 Dragon. Now, the reason why we're running this ratio is because obviously Beast and Hedgehog are really important in this deck because they're the, I guess you could say, consistent Shaddolls, where they give you either a search effect whenever Hedgehog is sent to the grave, or Beast gives you a free draw whenever it's sent to the grave. And again, those are very important to try and make this deck consistent. And then we have essentially the other one of Shaddolls is just names. Pretty much. Squamata, I was originally testing it too, but the thing is with this deck, you first of all don't want to play too much Shaddolls in the deck because drawing Shaddolls are pretty bricky, so you want to try and avoid that as much as possible, which is why I'm only playing 7 right now. And then Squamata is kind of weird because it burns you through your resources really, really fast, and in this deck where you really want to just make sure you can consistently cycle your El Shaddolls on and off the field whenever you can, you don't really want to play multiple Squamatas because again, it's going to burn through your cards really fast in your deck. Falco is arguably the worst Shaddoll now because we're not playing Synchros, so the tuner aspect of Falco is completely irrelevant, and Falco is just extremely slow and can be played around really easily. So again, Falco is arguably the worst one, but he is here just for a name, and then Dragon is here for just popping Solemn Strikes because popping Solemn Strikes are pretty good. So yeah, that will be it for the entire Shaddoll lineup. Moving on to the other cards, starting off with the Zoo Engine. We, of course, have 3 copies of the Rat, which is newly limited in the OCG, if you guys have not seen that new OCG ban list. And then we're also playing 2 Whiptail. Now, I know for an engine, this is going to be kind of a weird ratio because I know a lot of people play 3 Rat and then 1 Whiptail. But the thing is, with this deck, there's actually some really intricate plays that you can do with Whiptail in particular in this deck, where as an example, if you're going second with this deck and your opponent probably will have an extra deck monster on their board, as most decks make extra deck monsters on their turn 1 nowadays. The thing is, if you have a Whiptail and a Shaddoll fusion in your hand against your opponent going second, the thing is, you can use Whiptail as just a free zoo monster, and then you can actually use Shaddoll fusion to send Rat to the grave, to summon Shekinaga, of course, and then after that, you can summon your Whiptail, make Tiger Mortar over the Whiptail, activate Tiger Mortar's effect, grab the Rat from your grave, and then go off from there. So, again, there's some really cool plays that you can do in this deck in particular that really warrants you playing more than 1 Whiptail because you might end up needing it in hand every so often for it being a monster. So again, that is why we are running the 2 Whiptail, and then of course 3 Rat is 3 Rat. Moving on, we have the Terratop and the Takatumborg because of course making Invoker is good and making Invoker turn 1 is always just even better. So yeah. And then, of course, for the last couple of monsters, we have 2 copies of Maxi, because Maxi is, again, just really strong in this format, and, like, almost every deck should be running 2 in the main. And then, of course, for our Broad Bull search target, we are playing 1 copy of the Lunalight Black Sheep, because this can search you out a Polymerization, which is really important for this fusion summoning deck. So yeah, that'll be it for the entire monster lineup. Moving on to the spells, we have a ton of 3-ofs, believe it or not, in this deck. First off, we have, of course, like arguably again the best card in this deck, as of this variant anyway. We have 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. You really want to go second with this deck because you really want to try and punish your opponent for making their generic Zodiac boards or going first and making some kind of extra deck monster. Because El Shaddoll Winda is like low-key broken this format. Like I keep saying it to all of my friends that El Shaddoll Winda is just surprisingly really, really strong and really difficult to get around if you're playing against Zodiac, because they'll have to either like burn a Whiptail to try and banish the Winda off of board, or they have to like do something like Forbidden Chalice the Winda or something along that line, because Winda is immune to Drident's effect, and that's again really important, and that's why Shaddoll Fusion is so darn good this format, because it gets you free advantage and it gives you a free El Shaddoll Winda, which again is really, really dumb. So yeah, we of course have 3 copies of the Shaddoll Fusion. Then, of course, we have 3 copies of Barrage because best starter card in the game NA, probably. Like, this card got banned in the OCG just now for a reason, because this card is broken. So, yeah, we gotta play 3 of the broken card while it lasts. For the next 3 of, we have 3 copies of Instant Fusion. Now, this is my remedy to playing only 7 Shaddolls of the main deck, because along with being able to summon Norden with Instant Fusion can also Instant Fusion for El Shadow Winda itself as well, because Winda is a level 5 fusion monster. And so because of that, Instant Fusion also can kind of count as a Shaddol name when you need it for a fusion summon or something like that. So that is why I felt comfortable running 3 copies of it in this build. Finally, for the last 3 of, we have 3 copies of the Forbidden Chalice. Now, this card, of course, is just really good against Zodiacs as of right now, because a lot of the people are playing Chalice in their main decks to combat the Zodiac Trident. But I should also mention, along with just the normal things that Chalice can do in this deck, Chalice also has some pretty cool interactions with El Shaddol Winda again itself, because if you can make Winda on your turn 1, stop your opponent and stun them out of their turn, and then when it gets passed to your turn, you can actually use Chalice to turn your own Winda off sometimes to go off, and then at the end phase, your Winda will turn back on again. It's kind of like a trap stun for monsters, essentially. And because of that, Chalice is just extremely versatile in this deck, and I just really like it at 3. So again, we are having that as the last 3 of. Next up for the, I believe, just 1 of spells in the deck, we have 1 copy of Polly for the Black Sheep. We have 1 copy of Tenki because I felt like more copies of this was pretty cloggy, so you only have 1 copy of it, it's fine. 1 copy of Foolish because, again, it's just a really good versatile card. We have 1 copy of Raigeki to say no to all of our opponent's Zodiac boards. And then finally, of course, 1 copy of the Upstart Goblin because 39 card consistency. I'm sure you guys are really sick of me saying that, but I mean, it's true though. Moving on to the traps, it's just really simple. We have 1 copy of Combo because we need some kind of recyclability in this deck. And then, of course, 3 copies of the D-Barrier because this is like the best trap in the whole freaking game right now. So yeah, that will be it for the entire 40-card main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, of course, we're going to start off with the Zoo cards first. We have 2 copies of Dryden because Dryden is just, again, really, really strong, and you got to try at least play multiples because, again, just having the ability to turn any of your Zoo cards into this card is really dumb. 1 copy of Broad Bull, 1 copy of Tiger, and then 1 copy of the Borbo for your Zodiac combo. So yeah, we're just playing 5 Zoo Xyz monsters. Moving on to the other Xyz monsters, we have 1 copy of Bujinte Kagutsuchi because you can actually make this going into your Zodiac combo with the 2 rats that you make. And the ability to just mill 5 cards off the top of your deck for free when this card is summoned is really, really good. Because normally you can expect to just get a free plus 1 from the Kagutsuchi effect because you're mostly going to hit like maybe 1 Shaddol in the top 5 cards, but there are every so often times when you do hit multiple Shaddolls off of the Kagutsuchi mill, and that can really put you very far ahead. So because of that, we are playing 1 Kagutsuchi. We have 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald because recyclability. We have 1 copy of Castel because removing problem cards is important. We have 1 copy of Gagaga Samurai to help us have a little bit more OTK power. Then for the rank 3s, we have 1 copy of Invoker because Invoker is broken, and we have 1 copy of Totem Bird because Totem Bird is similarly broken when you already can make the rat combo. So yeah, that'll be it for the Xyz monsters, and then of course for the fusions, the bread and butter of this deck. We have 2 copies of the El Shadow Winda. Again, like I've said many times in this video, this card is broken. Like a lot of people don't play around Shaddol Fusion, obviously, because I guess you could say that Shaddolls are an irrelevant deck. But because of that, we can use Winda to, again, punish our opponent's boards because there aren't a lot of easy outs to Winda right now outside of maybe, again, Dimensional Barrier and Forbidden Chalice. So because of that, Winda has the ability to just really thrive this format, and that is why I'm playing this deck in the first place, to be honest, because Winda is just so good. Then, of course, we have 1 copy of the Shekinaga. I don't feel like you need 2 copies. I never made 2 copies within testing of this deck, and I just feel 1 copy is just enough, again, for situations when you might need to make Shekinaga in, again, certain situations that it might come up, and also for that play that I explained with Whiptail earlier, where you can also use Shekinaga as just a name to summon whenever it's applicable. So because of that, we have 1 copy of Shek. And then finally, for the last fusion, of course, 1 copy of Norden because it's still not banned, so we might as well enjoy it while it lasts again. So yeah, that will be it for my entire Zodiac Shaddol deck profile. I hope you guys all very much enjoyed this video. And again, like I said at the beginning of this video, expect to see a lot more deck profiles like in the following days because again, I am selling this deck, like, or not this specific deck, but my Zoo deck within like what, the next 3 or 4 days. So because of that, I'm gonna darn well try and get as much profiles out of that archetype as I can before I let go of it. So hope you guys all look forward to that. And as always, this is QRem from the Trinity of Lift, and I'll see all of you guys later. Peace out.